You know, when you grab medicine from your cabinet or food from your pantry, do you ever stop and think about how it all stayed safe on its journey to you? Well, it's not magic, that's for sure. It's actually a really powerful, kind of hidden system called good warehousing practices. These are the essential rules that protect the quality and safety of pretty much everything we use, every single day. So let's pull back the curtain and see how it all works. Right, so every single product you buy has a journey, and a really critical stop on that journey is the warehouse. The integrity of that entire supply chain, it really hinges on the safety protocols inside that building. So let's break down exactly how this protective system is built, piece by piece. Okay, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the why, the GWP foundation. Then we'll get into how we actually protect the products, what your role in all this is, and the official rules we all have to follow. We'll also touch on how we're always trying to get better, and we'll wrap up with the super important rules on cleanliness. So let's dive right in with the foundation. Because look, to make sense of any of the rules that are coming up, you first have to understand the core purpose. It all comes down to the why. So what is GWP really? Well, think of it like the official rulebook for a product's life inside a warehouse. And the goal is simple, but it's also absolute. From the moment a product arrives to the moment it leaves, its safety and quality have to be protected in a totally clean, controlled environment. No exceptions. The mission itself is pretty straightforward. Keep the product safe and follow the law. But here's what's really fascinating: the scope. This isn't just for the people driving forklifts or packing boxes. These rules apply to everyone who walks through that door: employees, contractors, even visitors just passing through. It means we're all accountable and everyone is expected to know the rules. And this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of the GWP philosophy. Safety isn't just one person's job or one department's problem, it's a shared culture of responsibility. From the top leadership to someone on their very first day, everyone has a part to play. It's a real team effort. Okay, so if that's the why, let's get into the how. How are products actually protected on a practical, day-to-day basis? Well, it all pretty much boils down to three key areas of prevention. This is like our three-pronged defense strategy. First, we prevent contamination. You know, simple things like keeping food off the floor where all the gunk gathers. That makes a huge difference. Second, preventing damage. This is all about careful handling, respecting how high you can stack things so you don't crush them. And third, preventing deterioration. This is where logistic stuff like first in, first out is critical to make sure products don't expire on the shelf. Now, this part is absolutely critical. A little spill or a slightly torn box might seem like no big deal, but if you ignore it, it can spiral into a major contamination or safety hazard. The rule is just so simple. If you see something, say something. Stop what you're doing, report it, and let a supervisor figure it out. Hesitation is not our friend here. And all of that leads us directly to the individual, to you. Because inside a warehouse, every single action has a consequence. It's a constant choice between being proactive and looking out for safety or, creating a risk. And it really comes down to this. Over on the left, you see these simple, proactive habits that build a wall of safety around the products. And on the right, those are the risks that punch holes in that wall. Eating where you shouldn't, using a busted pallet, forgetting to wash your hands. The link between your personal choices and product safety, it's direct and it's undeniable. Now, while individual responsibility is totally key, it all happens within a very strict framework. This isn't about making up the rules as you go. It's about following a very specific and mandatory playbook. Think of it like layers of rules. At the very bottom, you've got government laws. Then, on top of that, you have specific requirements from customers, the people who trust us with their products. Then, you have the company's own super detailed procedures, RSOPs. And that last rule, it's crucial. If for any reason you can't meet one of these requirements, you don't just ignore it, you escalate it immediately. So you might think once the rules are set, the job's done, right? But that's not how excellence works. A really strong GWP system isn't static. It's a living, breathing thing that's designed to constantly learn and improve. This is the cycle of continuous improvement. It all starts with training, where everybody learns the standards. Then you've got audits and inspections to check if those standards are actually being met. When a problem is found, corrective actions are taken to fix it right away. And finally, management reviews everything to find the root cause and make the whole system even better. See how each step feeds the next? It creates this upward spiral of safety and quality. All right, our final section. And this one covers what is arguably the most personal and critical component of all, hygiene. These rules are non-negotiable. They are the absolute front line of defense against contamination. These might seem like basic things, but their impact is massive. Proper hand washing gets rid of bacteria you can't even see. Clean, trimmed nails mean there are fewer places for dirt and germs to hide. And covering any cuts creates a solid barrier, preventing contamination of products or surfaces. It's simple, but it's effective science. The reasoning here is crystal clear. Food crumbs, little spills, cigarette butts, they can attract pests and introduce all sorts of bacteria into a sensitive environment. By strictly limiting these things to designated areas, you create a protected zone where products are handled, and it stays completely free from those contaminants. This rule is actually doing double duty. First, clean clothes prevent dirt and germs from your home from getting into the product environment. And second, avoiding loose clothing or jewelry isn't just about contamination, it's a personal safety rule to keep you from getting snagged on machinery. And of course, keeping personal stuff in lockers just makes sure it doesn't get lost and become a contamination source itself. Okay, in this one, this might be the single most important rule of personal responsibility. I get it. It can feel tough to call out sick. But handling products when you're ill can put the entire supply chain at risk. Reporting any illness isn't just a rule. It's your professional and ethical duty to protect the product and ultimately to protect the consumer. So in the end, good warehousing practice isn't just a poster you hang on a wall. It's a chain, and it's forged by the conscious decisions that every single person makes every single day. One weak link can compromise the whole thing. So the question I want to leave you with is this: where is your focus needed most to keep that chain strong?